Here on Ultra Top Secret, we talk about assassination attempts. We were talking about assassination attempts on Trump long before this last one happened. This is what we study on this channel. I have talked about the determination of Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana, RFK, JFK, and Brittany Murphy. Just in the last few months, Brittany Murphy termination was one of the last videos that I just did. Terminations of public figures are a regular thing. There is an actual CIA department that handles that. It's called DWO4, Domestic Wet Operations. And that's what this last thing looks like with the CEO. In my last video, I talked about how weird things was going on with the United Healthcare and the CEO, and there's some weird things coming down the pipe. It looks to me like United Healthcare has been under cyber attack and other things as well. The DOJ has gotten involved, but we know the DOJ is Biden's lapdogs. The DOJ attacks people when they are about to do something that's not good, that does not look good for the administration. The DOJ deemed PTA mothers, put them on a terrorist list, deemed them as terrorists because they didn't want sexually explicit materials being shown to their children in schools. So in this case, we see the DOJ involved with investigating United Healthcare, supposedly insider trading, but we see that the politicians, the Democrats, do all the insider trading that they want. Nancy Pelosi and many others did insider trading just before COVID happened. They knew it was coming, and they dumped all their shares of stock that was going to be bad, perform bad during COVID, and picked up stocks that were going to do well during COVID, like Amazon. We see that Nancy Pelosi's finger is in this pie as well. We find out that United Healthcare has been cyber attacked, and then Nancy Pelosi buys $4 million worth of options in a security firm that then is tasked with checking into the security breach. She makes $12 million off of this. Then we find out that the person that supposedly terminated this United Healthcare guy is related to the Pelosi's. This Luigi Mangione guy, his family is very close to Nancy Pelosi. So it's all weird. When this first happened, I immediately said it was a hit. I believe there was some information that was saying that the United Healthcare was going to bring out some information that was going to be bad about Big Pharma and all of the jab information that was going to come out that was going to link these vaccines to cancers and deaths and heart attacks and all that kind of stuff. And so they wanted to stop that. That was one rumor that was going around. But what I did know was that when this poor man got hit, that it was politically motivated. It was an assassination. It was done by a professional assassin. And this guy then just melded off into the woodwork. Then they come up with this Patsy guy, and that's what I'd said it was a Patsy right away. The pictures don't look the same. Check this picture out here. You can see that the faces aren't the same. The eyebrows are not the same. It's not the same guy. It's a similar situation that happened with the Butler, Pennsylvania termination attempt of Trump. What we've got here is we've got a person with a kinetic energy weapon that does the deed, but then we got somebody else that gets blamed for it. In the Butler, PA Trump situation, we had a guy on the roof that was different than the Thomas Crooks person that they said had done the deed. What they needed was somebody that lived in Butler, so they used Thomas Crooks' name, but they used another hitter, a guy, a mercenary for Ukraine, for the CIA to go up on the roof. When you look at the two pictures of the two guys, they're not the same. And that's what's happening here. There's similarities here as well. It's another CIA op. They're using one guy as the shooter and another guy as the patsy. This Thomas Crooks guy probably couldn't fire a weapon and hit a target, so they used his name, got a real merc up there to fire at Trump. And when you look at what happened afterwards, after that guy got hit, they hosed the blood right off the roof immediately, a crime scene, so there was no DNA evidence to prove that that was not Thomas Crook. They went into Thomas Crook's house and took everything, silverware, scrubbed everything, so there was no DNA or fingerprints. So you couldn't tell who was who. They switched the guys. That's what we see happening here. We've got a professional hitter that hit this guy. This guy somehow, the hitter somehow knew that this guy who has security with him was going to be coming out of the hotel at 6:45. This guy shows up a couple of minutes before that and hits him. This Brian guy, the CEO of United Healthcare, has a security detail. And that's another thing we see with these things. We see the security layers being pulled back like an onion. We saw it happen with Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. They left a big wedge wide open for their hitters to try to get in there, to try to get to Trump. We saw it with Princess Diana. They peeled away all the security so they could get to her. All this security for this Brian guy was peeled away. This guy happened to know where we're being told that the patsy just got there a couple days, was hanging out, was at a hostel, and then he just decided to cruise over there and just be there right within a minute or two of this guy coming out of the hotel without his security, and just happened to be right there to hit him right underneath the camera. So that's what we're seeing. This is a patsy. This deny, defend, and depose or whatever is a red herring. A red herring is a thing that criminals throw out to get the bloodhounds to go off on a different trail so they can escape. That's what this is. It's a red herring. What it looks like is there's something going on with United Healthcare, something that the Biden administration does not like, does not want to get out. When they whack a CEO like this, it puts out a message to everybody else that you better not talk about things or you're going to get whacked out on the street like a dog, like this poor man did, and there's going to be nothing that can be done about it. This case created so much outrage that it looks like they had to grab a patsy, and they did. They threw all kinds of evidence on him to prove, yes, that was him. Over and over again, you see this, the same tactics that they used with 9/11. With 9/11, we found a suitcase that supposedly didn't make it on the flight of Mohammed Atta's. It had all this information, maps and plane stuff and plane maps and all this kind of stuff to tie it to him. And then when we looked in the cars at the Boston airport, there was all kinds of maps and things tying them to the deal. And then there was a half-burned passport laying on the ground around the World Trade Center that supposedly didn't get incinerated in the 4,000-degree fireball that went off of that airplane. They're planting evidence, obviously, and that's what's happening in this case with this kid. They threw a backpack down here. They grabbed him, said he had cash on him. He's saying, no, I didn't. They're saying they got a pistol on him. The lawyer's saying there's absolutely no evidence to tie this guy to the whole thing. They just happen to know, it's very Oswald-like. They just happen to know that Oswald was at the movie theater to go pick him up. They just happen to know this guy was at the McDonald's and had all this stuff. His manifesto reads like a crappy crime novel. Some cop wrote it. It's all ridiculous. But the main evidence that we have here is the picture of the face and the eyebrows. They're not the same. It's not the same guy. This is a CIA op. That's what we talk about on this channel over and over again. We've been talking about this long before anybody else did. It's only when these type of things come out, everyone else starts talking about it. But this is what we talk about on this channel and have been. I was talking about Brittany Murphy a couple of episodes ago. She was terminated. The lead singers of Linkin Park and Soundgarden were both terminated. Kate Spade was terminated. Anthony Bourdain was terminated. You have to make them look like self-deletions over and over again. That's what we study on this channel, and that's what this is. This is a situation where the CIA, the Biden administration, doesn't want the information getting out about United Healthcare, so they're doing everything they can to stop it. Pelosi's involved, and I'm sure there's other CIA assets like her that are involved. And we also see, this is another part of the playbook the CIA uses, when Hinckley somehow got close enough to Ronald Reagan to put some kinetic energy rounds into him. We found out later that supposedly Hinckley was crazy, and he had a thing for Jodie Foster, a Walt Disney MK Ultra person, that he supposedly did this because he wanted to impress her. She was just like Britney Spears, poor girl that got caught into the Walt Disney MK Ultra mind control apparatus. And we find out that this John Hinckley guy is part of a family that's friends with the Bushes. And now that's what we're seeing with this. We're seeing that this Luigi guy, his family is close to the Pelosi family. Her father and his grandfather knew each other. We're finding out that the Mangione family is very, very rich, very, very rich. This kid has no problems getting fixed up. He's supposedly distraught and pissed off because he had a back injury. Meanwhile, his family is very, very generationally wealthy. They're worth over $100 million. They've got politicians in their pockets. They live in the nicest, most upscale areas of Baltimore. He goes to the highest top schools, Ivy League schools. This kid supposedly is pissed off that he got his back hurt and can't get the insurance company to fix it. Meanwhile, his parents are in the healthcare business and could probably pull some political strings and get the best doctors to fix it for him. That's what's going on with this. This is a family thing. They grab somebody from a family that's friends with the Pelosi's to try to take the rap for this. That's what's going on. These guys are generationally wealthy, and we're hearing that this guy Luigi is supposedly mad at the insurance company that they're bilking the people and not getting paid and treating the people wrong. We're finding out that his family's in the healthcare business, and they're doing the same thing. Their healthcare ratings for their healthcare places are the lowest that you can get. So they're doing the exact same scamming of the system that this kid is supposedly all pissed off about. This whole thing stinks to high heaven. Everybody needs to get their heads out of their asses and figure out what's truly going on with this thing. This is a red herring. This defend, depose, whatever. It's bunk. It's bullshit. Everybody needs to wake up and get on with the real program here. They're hitting CEOs to warn them that they better toe the line or they will be investigated to high heaven. They will be hacked to high heaven, and they will be whacked to high heaven.